Toto Wolff, Mercedes Formula One team boss, has been put on the spot in recent days after claiming in a new book that he's happy to see Hamilton leave due to his age. But why would he say something like that? And what did he mean by saying everyone and everything has an expiration date in F1? Could it be that Toto is really happy to see a change within his team? Some might think so, but just yesterday he said that accusations that he is happy that Lewis Hamilton is leaving the team have taken his statements out of context. He's not happy about it. However, he's also not sad. And now Hamilton is approaching his final 3 races in Mercedes colours before switching to Ferrari for next year, having won 6 F1 drivers' titles with the Brackley-based team since joining in 2013. It left Mercedes with a slot to fill alongside George Russell, and youngster Andrea Kimi Antonelli was chosen to make the move up from Formula 2. Hamilton informed Wolff at the beginning of the year that he will quit Mercedes to join Ferrari in 2025. Wolff said he appreciated Hamilton's efforts to limit the effect of his leaving on the squad by providing enough notice. "We met in my house in Oxford, and he basically said, 'This is a step I feel is good for all of us. It's good for me to reinvent myself. Every driver wants to be in Ferrari, and it's good for the Mercedes team too, because we've been with each other for 12 years, so maybe we're kind of reinvigorating ourselves.' And that's when he told me. Initially, obviously, it was a bit of a surprise, because it was at the beginning of the season, which was highly unusual. But also, I think where he came from was a sense of fairness to say, listen, I'm going to tell you very early, it may be awkward during the season, but so you can position the team and yourself for the years to come." Hamilton and Mercedes have achieved record-breaking success since their alliance began in 2013, with the team winning 8 consecutive constructors' titles in that time, a new F1 record, and Hamilton winning 6 of his 7 world titles with Mercedes, tying him with Michael Schumacher for the most in F1 history. However, the cooperation is coming to an end. Hamilton exercised a departure option in his Mercedes contract before of the F1 2024 campaign, securing a transfer to Ferrari from F1 2025, with only 3 race weekends remaining in the current season, and thus Hamilton's Mercedes tenure. F1 2024 has been a year of highs and lows for Hamilton, from breaking his winless streak at home to win a record-extending 8th Silverstone race, to painful weekends like Austin, where he was eliminated in Q1 and spun out in the early stages of the race. In the forthcoming Inside Mercedes F1 Life in the Fast Lane book, Wolff argued that Hamilton's decision to depart was a plus, since it avoids the moment where we need to tell the sport's most iconic driver that we want to stop. "There's a reason why we only signed a 1+1 year contract," he added. "We're in a sport where cognitive sharpness is extremely important, and I believe everyone has a shelf life." That statement attracted media coverage and social media controversy, but Wolff explained in an interview with BBC Radio 4's Today programme ahead of the Las Vegas Grand Prix weekend, "You know, that was taken a little out of context. What I was referring to was that all of us age, whether it is in a car, on a pitch, or as a manager or entrepreneur. And that is what I am trying to do with myself. Understand, am I going from great to good? Because good is not in Formula 1 anymore." Now, contrary to my own self-assessment, I think we see with Lewis that he's very much there when the car is right, and we haven't been able to give him that car to perform his best, and that is a frustration that we share equally in the team, and for himself. But he's very sharp. He's different to when he was a 20-year-old, that's certainly clear, but his experience and his racecraft is tremendous. Hamilton has won 2 races in his final year with Mercedes, breaking a drought that dates back to the 2021 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix with an emotional win at the British Grand Prix. The 39-year-old also won the Belgian Grand Prix after teammate George Russell, who finished first, was disqualified for running underweight. Russell is 2 points ahead of Hamilton coming into this weekend's Las Vegas Grand Prix, with Mercedes focusing on 2025 after admitting it is difficult to improve from 4th place in the constructors' rankings. So, Mercedes plans to utilise the season's last Formula 1 races to obtain a better knowledge of its vulnerabilities, having accepted 4th place in the constructors' standings. The Silver Arrow's fortunes changed in the middle of the season, as after going winless in 2023, they won 3 races in summer. George Russell won in Austria after Max Verstappen and Lando Norris hit each other, and Lewis Hamilton won 2 races in Britain and Belgium, but the team has struggled to maintain that momentum during the rest of the season. Russell led early in the wet conditions at Interlagos last time out, but dropped to 4th after pitting before the red flag, extending a run of races without a podium since the Azerbaijan GP in September, when Russell inherited 3rd after Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez collided late. With the gap to Red Bull in 3rd now 162 points, and having seen its struggles in similar areas since the dawn of the ground effect era, trackside engineering director Andrew Shovlin insisted the team would now focus on how to address those issues in 2025, the final year of the current rule cycle. The main thing in terms of learning is that the corners that we are weak in are still the same ones. It is the interconnected, slow corners. That is normally where we trip up, explained Shovlin. Going into the weekend, we certainly had Sector 2 in Brazil, which has a lot of those corners, on our radar as an area that we might struggle. The big focus in these remaining races for us is learning what we can. We are in a position in the championship where we cannot challenge in front of us. It is very unlikely we are going to see any challenge from behind. Our focus has very much shifted to learning what we need to this year to apply to next year in order to get on top of those issues. Despite its troubles in the rain over the weekend in Brazil, Shovlin emphasized the benefits of being able to operate the car in wet conditions as part of its preparation for the upcoming season. In Brazil, it was useful having that wet running because you want to get a read on the car in the wet, he added. There is always a few wet quali and race sessions over the year. It was reassuring to see that the pace in those conditions was decent. But we are going to be looking at all the remaining tracks to assess performance and just confirm what we understand about this car and whether the changes we are hoping to make for next year are going to improve those areas. Shovlin stated that Vegas features several straight lines and low-speed curves. Qatar is a quicker track, and finishing in Abu Dhabi, which is a mix of everything, will provide us with a fair indication of how we are performing and who the standard is. Sometimes it is Red Bull, sometimes McLaren, sometimes Ferrari, but it will allow us to establish the gap that we need to close down over those winter months. So, what are you expecting from Mercedes during these last 3 races? And most important, what are your thoughts on Toto Wolff's words on Hamilton leaving? Will he regret the fact he let his superstar go next year? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.